I know your story already, but why don't you share a little bit with the audience here? How did you get into Web3, and what did you do before Web3, and also, how did this new company start?
Yeah, I'll start with chronologically. So when I was 13, we moved from Berlin to Silicon Valley, and I was put into a completely new environment. I went to a German American school, and in Berlin, I was part of this kind of specific like science type of high school. And so I ended up getting kind of bored in the German American school, and then decided like, hey, what do I do if I'm bored? Let's go to my father's work at SAP Labs and just kind of hang out, enjoy the fast internet, and read a bunch of cool articles, like play some games, whatever. After doing this for a few months, one of the managers discovered me, and he was like, "Why don't you make yourself useful?" And I'm like, what do you mean? What should I do? And he's like, "Well, you could actually learn to program and do something cool for the company." And I'm like, "Okay, what do I do?" It's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll send you to like Visual Basic Bootcamp for 2 weeks, and then you can get started and help us program." And so I did that. And because I was so young, they couldn't actually pay me. They just gave me a bunch of free hardware in exchange for like code that I was writing. And so that was literally my introduction into technology. And I was just like super fascinated. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I can like program classes. I can make like individual functions. I can directly contribute to this thing that they called HR self-service applications at that point. And so that was my first journey, like starting to program because of boredom in high school. And then stayed there for a bit and went to college and worked at Microsoft as well, did a kind of technical product management in the Visual Studio group. After that, switched over more to the business side, post-college, worked for Bain& Company, and consulted a bunch of Fortune 500 companies on the tech and finance and some on the CPG side as well. After that, went more into traditional finance because while in college, I also did research at the Harvard Business School on global capital markets, like risk, like life insurance arbitrage and global catastrophe risk reinsurance, weather arbitrage. And Bridgewater was pretty interested in that type of background. So went into the portfolio construction department, spent some time there, and then went back to graduate school at Stanford. And that's where I started my first Web2 company. The company is called Garten. I scaled that up to 650 employees at one point, 100 million in contracted ARR, and was a top YC company, unicorn, and so on. And then 2022, I got a call from my classmate at Stanford, Thomas, and he said, "Hey, 5 years ago, I've backed a company called Conflux. Ming and Fun, two of the co-founders, want to start something more global scale. Are you interested in chatting?" And so to give a bit of context before that, in 2013, when I was going through graduate school, I heard Mark Andreessen talk about Bitcoin. I was a DFJ fellow, so Tim Draper chatted about Bitcoin. My classmates chatted about Bitcoin. I was like, I'm getting the message. I need to buy some Bitcoin on Coinbase, like right now. And so that was my first foray into crypto. And then 2016, bought a bunch of the ICOs and then kept kind of angel investing in companies like WorldCoin and Uniswap and so on. And so Thomas knew about this and he knew I wanted to be an operator. And so that's why he contacted me as well. Then the four of us got together. We did 6 months of co-founder dating. And then I was like, holy shit, these are like the best engineers I've ever worked with. Like, we need to start something. And so May of last year, I basically said, okay, we need to work together. The team is amazing. The values are aligned. I moved a board chair type of role at Garten and then started my zero G journey full time.